Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are diving into one of the most common tools you'll ever see for showing data, the pie chart. We're going to cover everything from how to make one yourself to, how to actually read one and understand the story it's telling. Let's jump right in.
Just think about it like this. A pie chart is basically just a pizza for your data, right? It's a super simple way to see, at a single glance, who got the biggest slice, or in this case, which category is taking up the biggest piece of the pie.
Take a look at this chart showing how popular different board games are. Your eyes just immediately go to the biggest slices, don't they? It's pretty obvious that Candyland and Monopoly are the big winners here, and that's really the magic of a pie chart. It makes these proportions instantly easy to grasp.
Okay, so behind that simple circle, there's a really clear structure. Let's dig into the basics of what actually makes a pie chart work.
So here's the official definition. It's a circle, the pie, and it's cut into slices, which we call sectors. Now, the most important thing to remember is that the size of each slice is directly tied to how big its category is. So a bigger slice means a bigger share of the total. Simple as that.
So why do we see these things everywhere? Well, it's because our brains are just naturally good at understanding these part-to-whole relationships visually. And a pie chart takes full advantage of that, making it a really powerful way to show simple proportions quickly.
All right, enough with the theory. The best way to really get something is to build it yourself, right? So let's walk through step by step how to turn a basic table of data into a proper pie chart.
So here's the data we're going to use. The Singapore government spending back in 2021, all broken down by category. The very first step with any kind of data visualization is just to get your numbers organized in a table, just like this.
Now, turning this table into a chart is really just a two-step process. First, we need to know how big the entire pie is, so we'll add everything up. And then we have to figure out the exact angle for each and every slice. Let's break that down.
Okay, step 1. We just add up the amounts from all the categories. A little quick math gets us a grand total of $32,755,000. That number, that's our whole pie.
Now for the cool part, turning these numbers into actual shapes. To find the angle for a slice, let's say for social development, we figure out what fraction of the total it represents, then we multiply that by 360, because, there are 360 degrees in a circle. This little formula makes sure every slice is perfectly sized.
And after we do that math for all the categories, ta-da! Here it is. This gives us such a clear picture of the government's spending priorities. You can see right away that social development and security are where the vast majority of the budget goes. We just turned a kind of boring table into a really clear visual story.
Okay, so we can build a chart from data. Awesome. But can we do it the other way around? Let's switch gears and see how we can pull the original numbers out of a pie chart that's already made.
Okay, check out this scenario. We've got a pie chart here showing votes for 4 different salespeople. But notice anything missing? Yeah, we don't have all the numbers.
So here's the puzzle. The angles for 2 of the sections are given as variables, 2x and x. So our job is to solve for x and then figure out what percentage of the total votes Jamila got.
Now here's the key that unlocks this whole thing. All the angles in a pie chart have to add up to exactly 360 degrees. Once we know that rule, we can just set up a simple equation. We add up all the sectors we know, solve for our mystery x, and boom! We find out that x is equal to 40 degrees. And now for the last piece of the puzzle. To turn Jamila's slice into a percentage, we basically just do the reverse of what we did before. We take our angle, which is 150 degrees, and we divide it by the full 360-degree circle. Multiply that by 100, and we find out she got about 41.7% of the votes. Not bad.
All right, you've seen how to build a chart, you've seen how to read one. Now it's time to put those new skills to the test. Let's do a little pop quiz.
Okay, here's your first one. This chart shows how students get to school. Take a good look and see if you can figure out the most popular way to travel and what percentage of students walk. Go ahead and pause here and try to work it out.
You ready for the answers? The most popular way to get to school is the bus. Pretty easy to see since it has the biggest angle, 135 degrees. And for the percentage of students who walk, we do that same calculation again. 105 divided by 360 times 100, which gives us 29.17%. Nicely done.
Let's try one more. This one's a little different. This chart shows percentages instead of angles, and we're told that the total number of students is 180. Your mission is to find the exact number of students who said English was their favorite.
So how'd you do on that one? The chart tells us English is the favorite for 25% of students, so all we have to do is find 25% of 180. And that works out to be exactly 45 students. Fantastic.
We have covered a ton of ground, from making charts to breaking them down. So to wrap things up, let's just take a quick, honest look at when you should use a pie chart and, well, maybe when you shouldn't.
So, what's the bottom line? Pie charts are amazing when you want to show a simple part-to-whole relationship with just a handful of categories. They're simple and visually appealing, but they do have weaknesses. It's actually really hard for our eyes to accurately compare slices that are similar in size. If you need to be super precise, a good old-fashioned bar chart is often the better and maybe more honest choice.
And that brings us to the end. You are now fully equipped to understand and use one of the most common data visuals out there. So the last question I have for you is this. Think about your day, your hobbies, your interests. Where could you use a pie chart to tell a story? Thanks so much for joining me.